field and really hurting them. Running the ball, they were bumping out, and so they made an adjustment, and they wanted to bring the corner, and Deshaun, hits a side adjustment. And so, that's a frustrating thing as a coach because they kind of gave us the same look. And they're like, okay, we're gonna bust them in the chops here with this adjustment. And, he hits a big play to Mike Williams on a simple sight. And those are the things that he's demonstrated. So he'll just continue to prepare the right way. I think he'll be just fine.
Leadership-wise, do you start to see some of his teammates on offense respond to him and now maybe look to him?
Yeah, I mean, he handles himself. It's kind of what I saw with Sammy Watkins. Sammy never said a whole lot as a freshman, but he kind of inspired everybody because of how he worked. That guy came to practice every day, and that's the way Deshaun is. I mean, he's just, and then you put that type of production with that work ethic that he demonstrates. He doesn't have to say a whole lot. The guys, I think, have really grown to really respect him, and he's been here since January. So, I think it's a very natural thing that is taking place, and those guys believe in him. He really has, inspired all of those guys to play at a high level. Just again, how he prepares, how he practices, how he handles himself. He's not a me guy. He's very humble, and guys respond to that.
And you told him no more hurdle.
Well, I told him, the game needs to be like on the line or something. If we have a big lead or something, we could probably just go down and maybe score the next play or go to the next play, whatever. But that's just kind of how he's wired. That's his competitive drive and his will to win. And I think I told y'all, I told somebody, but he had that same exact play. Again, it was either a playoff game or his last game. Might have been his last game of his career at Gainesville. Down the left sideline, he takes off, and there's the end, and he literally somersaults. They hit him and somersaulted him into the end zone. I mean, it was unbelievable play. But having said that, he does have a good understanding of getting down and protecting himself because he's been the guy for a long time, and he knows that. I remember going and watching him. I went to Gainesville one time last year, and the backup. He's a big, tall, good-looking guy, and the backup quarterback's about this tall. And so, I think he's understood for a long time how valuable he has been to his team, and that they're not quite the same when he wasn't on the field, and so he gets that, and he does a good job taking care of himself. But at the same time, he wants to win, and that was an unbelievable play. It was a clean hurdle. It wasn't necessarily a dive. It was more of a clean hurdle.
Yeah. Injury updates on Tony Stewart, Sharon, Cole.
Yeah.
And when do you expect to get Joe Gore back?
Cole's doing good. It's his left shoulder. He's getting better each day. He'll be ready. He'll be ready to go for sure. Tony is day to day. He's probably going to do more mental practice, just trying to get the soreness out of that hamstring. But we're hopeful that he'll be ready to go on Saturday. Very sharp. And speaking of Tony, he probably played his best game as a Tiger, at linebacker this past weekend. He's really playing well and just having a blast. It's just fun to watch those guys have some fun playing. Who was else? Who else did you ask me about? Oh, Sharon. They reevaluated him. We're hopeful. I mean, it's just a situation where they actually did another MRI. His ligaments are great. We don't have any issue there. He's got some type of fluid that's coming from an irritation on the synovial lining, whatever that is. It's something that's common, and they think it's being triggered by something not to do with his knee that doesn't have anything to do with his knee. So they're just kind of treating that, and that might be something that we just might have to just kind of maintain. But we're hopeful that he'll be ready to cut it loose and get back at it this week. But that's kind of a day-to-day, kind of like where we were with Spiller, different injury, different situation. But we had to kind of maintain Spiller that whole senior year, and depending on hopefully it doesn't get inflamed again, and they can kind of get that little irritation out of there and under control. But if not, it might be something he just might have to play with and get through the season. So we'll just see. But he doesn't have any ligament issues or anything like that. And then you asked me about somebody else. Who was the other one? Joe Gore. Joe's progressing well. He's back in meetings and looks good, doing well. We're still. I'm gonna wait till Sunday and kind of see where he is at the end of the week. But we hope to get him back sooner than later. Certainly within the next couple weeks, maybe next week, but we think for sure by the following week.
How about Ben Bower?
Ben Bower is doing really well. Ben's doing really well. They felt really good about him actually Sunday, and there's a protocol and I don't get involved in all that stuff, but we'll hold him out of contact today. But he actually looks really good. I'm pretty hopeful for him as long as he doesn't have any type of setback or anything like that. And then Tyshawn Dye was back in practice yesterday, so that was good to see him out there. We're going to keep him in green, but just kind of getting him back implemented into practice where he's doing ball handling and basically Tony's kind of running every play with him behind the play. So he's going to be in the quarterback, and we're making sure he's getting the ball and having to think about every rep. So just kind of bringing him along. So it was good to see him out there yesterday too. OJ had surgery Friday on his knee, and he pulled through nicely.
With the college football playoff, does 2 losses, does that knock you out? Are you?
Oh no, I think anything can happen. It'll knock you out if you think it'll knock you out. I mean, all you can do is control what you control. But we've had 2 lost teams in the national championship when there was only 2 teams. Isn't that right? I think so, that's right. So I certainly wouldn't think it knocks you out with 4. I just think that obviously you got to have some help. There's got to be some things happen, but a few more weekends like this past weekend, I had a hard time doing my rankings this week. I had a really hard time. It was a crazy weekend, but that's college football. That's what makes it so much fun, and I think hopefully we can continue to build some momentum and become the team that we want to be, and have a great October and a great November. If we do that, then we've done what we can control, and we'll see where the chips fall.
You mentioned Tony Stewart. Just on a personal level, what is it like to just see a guy like that playing at a high level, having so much fun when it's been such a long road for him to finally get his chance?
It's inspiring. It really is. It's inspiring to see his fortitude and mental toughness, commitment, perseverance, all that stuff. I mean, he is a man's man. That guy right there is, he's going to be an unbelievable citizen, father, husband, whatever he does in life. And because he's what he's been through. He is having the time of his life, and it is really fun to see. Watching him and Stephon out there, which was something that we kind of wanted to see, and we just had great visions of that coming out of the recruiting process, and obviously it didn't quite go the way any of us wanted it to go, but I'm enjoying where we are right now, and he is playing at a high level for us. He really is doing a great job, and those 2 guys are kind of feeding off each other, and he's just going to keep getting better. That's the thing about Tony. He's still he's like a freshman out there. He's just having a blast because he's getting to be, who he knew he could be, but he's just had to go through so many hurdles to get back to where he just plays free and loose, and he just doesn't think about anything other than, his job and making the tackle and playing fast. And I'm real happy for him, and hopefully he can kind of get through this little strained hamstring thing, get back out there and continue to have the great season that he's having.